everyone. We are going to learn today about beekeepers. So when I talked to Mr. Neb, Mr. Tanner, Mrs. Jackson, and Mrs. Fagan, they all told me, Mrs. Walkowski, make sure you wear white for this lesson. I don't know yet why, but that's what they told me. They told me that I might need some protective gear for my hands. So I'm going to do that. I need to put some gloves on. Which way does this go? They did tell me that I might need something like a knife. Yeah, and like a little brush. Finally they said I might need to wear a hat with a special veil on it. What am I doing today? I have no idea.
Hello, boys and girls. Let's begin our day by learning more about bees. Are you ready? Well, I'm not sure if you're ready, but I am. And this is what I have for you today. Entomologist. Entomologist is a person, a scientist that researches about insects, how they live, interact, their environment, and more. So entomologists would be scientists that learn about bees. I am an entomologist, and you are too, because we are little scientists this week who are learning about bees. Now, beekeepers. Beekeepers are people who take care of bees, who have beehives. Beekeepers have special beehives for the bees to live in and make honey in. They wear a special type of clothing and hat to keep them safe when they remove some of the honey. The honey is then put into jars for people to buy and then eat. Beekeepers. Wow, look at all the bees over here. Oh my goodness. And entomologists. Who do I want to be today? Entomologist, a scientist who studies bees, or a beekeeper and have my own beehives. Let me think. Well, as we're learning about beekeepers, I would like to go back to the book by Gail Gibbons because it's just such a wonderful source of information and read what it tells us about hives and beekeepers. Honeybees have always been valued for honey they make, For thousands of years, people have stolen honey from wild beehives. People became beekeepers when they began to make their own hives. Some used hollow logs, others used clay pots. Later, in about 1500s, European beekeepers started using upside-down basket hives called skeps. Then, in about 1850, the hanging movable frame beehive was invented. Let's take a closer look. Here is a wild hive hidden in a tree. Hollow log hive, a hive made in the log of a tree. Clay pot hive. Oh, I love this one. That's what we usually see in cartoons, and this is what people imagine when they hear a beehive. It's an old type of a hive that was used in about the 1500s called a skep, like an upside-down basket. Oh yeah, it looks like an upside-down basket. Hang on. Basket. Beehive. Hanging movable frame beehive. That will be the modern beehive that beekeepers use today. On top of the hill is a modern beehive. The beehive is stacked in sections. In each section hang about 10 wooden frames where the bees build their honeycombs. To help the bees build their honeycombs faster, the beekeeper places wax foundation and the frames. Look at this hive. It has 3 sections. The upper section right here, where the beekeepers will harvest the honey. The middle section, the food chamber, is where the bees store the honey they need for their food. And the brood chamber on the bottom, where the queen lays her eggs. Finally, you also see the entrance to the hive. And here in the very corner of my book, a foundation is a sheet of wax impressed on both sides with a pattern of honeybee cells. Beautiful. Skep and a modern beehive. It's time for the beekeepers to harvest the honey. The honeybees have had several months to build and fill the honeycombs. The colder the winter, the more food they will need. The beekeepers move slowly around the hive. They wear special clothes and use special equipment to protect themselves from getting stung. Wow! Helmet with a veil. A metal hive tool is used for prying apart frames stuck together. They have gloves, white coveralls with elastic or ties at the wrists. White makes bees feel calm. Oh, I need to stay calm. A smoker calms the bees too. Back at home in a shed, the beekeepers use a hot knife to cut the wax caps of the honeycomb. Then the honeycomb frame is placed inside an extractor. It spins around at a high speed to remove the honey without breaking the honeycomb. The honey goes into a collecting tank. Here, she is using a special hot knife to cut the wax caps of the honeycomb. Then the frame, this entire frame, is placed in the extractor. Now this person is making the extractor spin, and as the extractor spins at a very high speed, the honey drips down and goes into the collecting tank. So much to learn. Now, if you are a beekeeper, like the silly beekeeper in this book that we've read, you want to be able to tell apart what is a bee and what is not. And I had a conversation about that with some of my students during my Zoom meeting. Let's read this. A bee or not a bee? It's easy to mistake other insects for bees. They often look alike. Here is a bee. Has hair all over its body that helps catch pollen. Eats nectar and pollen from flowers. Has pollen baskets if the bee is female. Okay, here is a bee. Next page. But there are ways to tell them apart, to tell the insects apart. Take a closer look at the bee and a yellow-jacket wasp, which is not a bee. Do you see the difference? Here's the wasp. Some of my students say, here is a wasp. Here is a bee. Eats mostly meat such as other insects, does not have much hair, does not have pollen baskets. Oh, it does look smooth and shiny. Definitely, I see that the antennae are like yellowish color. I don't see any pollen baskets, and the legs look yellow. On the bee, they look black. I definitely see a difference between these two. Now we'll be able to tell them apart. The difference between a bee and a yellow-jacket wasp.
Okay, boys and girls, I've read all the books with you. I watched the video, and I think I know what's going on. First of all, I'm wearing white because white calms the bees. I need a net to protect my face. Now, What I also have are gloves to protect my hands, just in case. Even though I've learned, most likely I will not get stung by bees. Then I have a frame that I pulled out. Oh, let me pull it out. Hang on, one more time. Out of my hive. Here it is. It is full of honey. I am going to use this knife, pretending, to scrape off the wax so I can open up the cells that hold the honey. Scraping off the wax. Oh, it's all off. Hang on, I forgot a step. One more time. Taking off the frame out of the hive. Ooh, there's still some bees swarming around. I need to brush the swarming bees off. Now, scraping off the wax. Here we go. Scraping it off, scraping it off. Now I'm ready to put my frame in the extractor. But that part we will just have to imagine. Boys and girls, I had so much fun learning about bees with you today. Take care, and I will see you again tomorrow.